Dear students, myself Dr. Sandeep Ramchandra Pai. I am working as assistant professor at Rayat Shikshan Samstha Dada Patil Mahavidyalaya Karjar in Department of Botany. In continuation with earlier lectures, I will be dealing with FY BSc Botany Semester 1 Paper 2nd, and as suggested, particularly we will be concentrating on credit number 2nd with 15 lectures on anatomy, types of tissues and internal organization of plant body, out of which we have completed anatomy earlier. We have completed one part of tissues, types of tissues, that is meristematic tissues, that was seen earlier. And today, out of the 4 main types of tissues, we will be concentrating on permanent tissues. Into permanent tissues, we will see what does parenchyma, collenchyma, chlorenchyma and sclerenchyma mean, their structures and their functions. First thing first, about the permanent tissues. These tissues are derived from meristematic tissues. Meristematic cells increase in dimension and attain a definite size and shape. They may be living or dead. Unlike meristematic tissues, where all the cells in meristematic tissues are considered as living tissues, in case of permanent tissues, we have living and dead both types of cells into them. They can resume meristematic activity in certain conditions. So there are certain cells which regain the meristematic activity. What does meristematic activity mean? Meristematic activity means the potential to divide faster and produce the cells which function into different categories. Because normally we see that all the cells have a tendency to divide, but meristematic tissues are those initial tissue cells which normally do not have any kind of vision further in which particular organ they are supposed to grow. It is in the later part it is decided whether it has to form a leaf, stem or a epidermal cell or epidermal tissue or any other types of tissue, even considering the vascular bundles. So they are also called as simple tissues. They have group of uniform cells performing similar functions. Now this we have already studied into the basics of tissues, that when we say it is a tissue, all the cells are uniform and they function similarly. So this point can be mentioned in each tissue section that we learn. So that will add to the scoring of your into your examinations. So they include, the permanent tissues include parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. To start with, we will start with the parenchyma. We will see the structure of parenchyma first, then their functions. Parenchyma, these are common type of permanent tissues. They consist of cells of uniform diameter. So the diameter of all the cells into parenchyma are similar. Usually living cells may be oval, spherical or polygonal. Intracellular spaces are present. That means the cells are separately, these cells are separately organized, and we see that there are intracellular spaces in between them. There is abundant protoplasm present into them. I hope protoplasm is known to all of you. Thin cell wall made up of cellulose. So the protoplasm into the cells is covered with a thin cell wall which is made up of cellulose, only cellulose rather. They are also called ground or fundamental tissues. Ground tissues because they participate in formation of structures. We call them ground or fundamental tissues. They are found in cortex with medullary raised mesophyll of of leaves and pulp of fruits. So mesophyll of leaves and pulp of fruits, you will find parenchyma structure or parenchyma tissues in them. Now let us see the functions of parenchyma. Parenchyma with chloroplast is called as chlorenchyma. Chloro and chyma. So what is been done over here is chyma from parenchyma and chloro from chlorophyll is merged together to form a function to form a type of cell which contains chloroplast into them. The parenchyma cells which contains chloroplast into them, they are called as chlorenchyma. Their main function of parenchyma is food manufacture, and into aquatic plants, air cavities. Special feature into aquatic plants, air cavities are present. These air cavities are also called as aerenchyma because there is air into them. So when you take a transverse section of stem of any of the aquatic plants, it may be free floating or it may be submerged. You will see that there are air pockets present into them. These air pockets, what they do is they help the plant to float. If it is submerged, even that time the plant has to float into water, within the water. And a plant like lotus, which floats above water, right? You must have seen that the leaf of lotus is above water, the flower comes above water. So when it is floating over water, there is a stem structure which is holding that plant inside the water, and these stems are hollow. And these stems, when you take a transverse section, you will see that there is air cavity present into them, right? So this is about functions of parenchyma. There is one more function which is similar to that of the second one. Parenchyma, after food manufacturing, they also participate in food storage. So they store the food into them. The examples to be given: in fleshy stems and leaves, they function in water storage. Example, in case of cactus like Opuntia, you will see that there is the leaves of the stems rather, which is a modification. You will see that there is water storage, fleshy kind of mass is present into them. Even you can consider aloe vera, where you will see thick leaves, succulent thick leaves with a cuticle. When you cut the leaf, you will see a fleshy structure, and there is lots and lots amount of water into them. Let us see the structure of parenchyma. Like I had described earlier, you will see that there are gaps intracellular, there are gaps in between the cells. So the structure which I am drawing into red will denote that intracellular spaces are present into them. Okay, so here also into A and B, this structure also, you will see that there are intracellular spaces. I'll put this into red so that you can understand better. Here, see here, the intracellular spaces are present very less. Okay, so these are intracellular spaces which are present into parenchyma cells. Whereas we also saw that the parenchyma cells with chloroplast will be known as chlorenchyma. So C represents chlorenchyma, where chloroplast is organized on the periphery of the cells. Okay, so this type of cells are called as chlorenchyma cells. And then in other types of tissues as well, you will see this structure of TS of leaf, where there is intracellular spaces. Okay, and rather intracellular spaces, I should say that these are the cavities which are present into the TS transverse section, the transverse section of many of the aquatic plants. Now, as we have finished the parenchyma part, we'll move on to the next part of the tissue into the permanent tissues, which is collenchyma. Let us see the structure first. It is a it is a special type of parenchyma cell. So it originates from parenchyma. That's why we say it is a special type of parenchyma tissue. It is elongated with walls thickened at corners in longitudinal strips. They remain alive even after maturity. That means even after maturity, like we saw in case of parenchyma cells, where those cells have living and dead tissues. In collenchyma, we see that they remain alive even after their maturity. So that means they don't have a fate into death, rather I should say. So further, they are rounded or polygonal in transverse section. TS is transverse section. You take a transverse section, you observe the cells, you will see that the cells are rounded or they are polygonal in shape. They have thickening due to deposition of cellulose with pectin. So in case of parenchyma, there was only cellulose, but in case of collenchyma, you will see that the cellulose is with pectin into them, right? So these are some of the differentiation characters of collenchyma with parenchyma. Cells never lignified. So you will see that the cells are never lignified and have simple pits in their walls. So there are simple pits into their walls. They are present in hypodermis of dicot stem, absent in roots and monocot stem. So that clearly indicates that they have their presence into hypodermis of dicot stem. Hypodermis, the layer just outside, inside the epidermis is known as hypodermis, and that too into dicot stem. So absent in roots and monocot stem. So you won't see collenchyma cells into monocot roots and monocot stems. Next, on basis of thickening of cell walls and arrangement of cell, we can differentiate collenchyma as angular, which is most common type of collenchyma cell. We see the deposition is localized to the junctions, and compact tissue, it's a compact tissue with intracellular spaces. So the angular collenchyma is a common type with a deposition localized to its junctions where it is attaching to the another cell, and they are compact tissue without intracellular spaces. Irregularly arranged cells. So you will see that angular collenchyma cells are irregularly arranged. Now let us see what do you mean by lacunate or the other type of other type of collenchyma cell, which is lacunate or tubular. They are with intracellular space. Unlike angular cells, they are with intracellular space, where angular cells are compactly arranged without intracellular. Here you will see intracellular spaces into them. The thickening of walls bordering on spaces. So you will see there is thickening of wall bordering on spaces. The other type, the third type of collenchyma is plate or lamellar. So this plate or laminar type of collenchyma is compactly arranged again. They have thickened tangential walls and cells look like plates or bands. So the distinguishing feature of plate or plate laminar collenchyma is cells look like plates or bands. Now let us see what are the functions of collenchyma. It is flexible tissue and gives tensile strength to growing organs. So tensile strength means the ability of a plant when it is in a wind. You will see that the plant goes along with the wind and again attains its natural position. So it provides a tensile strength to this stem. Adapts for rapid elongation of stem. You will see rapid elongation of stem because of collenchyma tissues. In old stems, it adds mechanical strength. Mechanical strength, the one what I have explained you, earlier, it provides mechanical support to organs. So whatever organs are there, leaf, thorns, spikes, fruits, okay, it provides mechanical support to all these organs. Due to peripheral position in stem, it resists bending and pulling action of wind. So that is what I explained you when I said that it is flexible tissue. I said that in wind, the plant tends to move in the direction of the wind. Again, after the wind is gone, the plant again or the lessened wind again puts the plant into back into the regular position, its original position. So this bending of plant into the air or into the wind is because of this particular type of tissue, collenchyma, which is there into it. Let us see the structure of collenchyma. This is not function, this is structure. This is particularly structure. You will see that there are elongated or longitudinal section. A is a longitudinal section, B and C is a transverse section. So into longitudinal section you will see that elongated cells present into them, and into transverse section you will see how compactly arranged they are. So the compact arrangement is also observed. And the D part, where we have to see the thickened cells, right? So into lateral section we see these thickened cells. The cells are extra thick. Okay, so these are thickened cells. And E is individual collenchyma cell. So these are individual collenchyma cells. Okay, so these are individual collenchyma cells into transverse section. Further, we are supposed to see sclerenchyma structure. It's a component cell. Its component cells are prosynchymatous. So when we say prosynchymatous, it means that longer than the breadth. So the length is more than the breadth, longer than the breadth. Okay, so these are called as prosynchymatous. They have thickened, heavily lignified, simple pitted cells. They are thickened, heavily lignified, simple pitted cells. They are hard secondary wall with low water content. So it means that there is low water content into these kind of cells. This is different from the collenchyma, right? So this makes a distinguishing feature, where in case of collenchyma I gave you example of cactus, I gave you example of aloe, where we see there is water retention into them, there is lots and lots amount of water into them. But in case of sclerenchyma structures, you will see that the cells are, the secondary wall is hard with low water content into them. So there are two types again into this. So elongated cells, which are known as fibers, and short isodiametric irregular cells, which are called as sclerites or sclerotic cells. So these are the two types of sclerenchyma cells. The fibers are elongated. So elongated cells, which are fibers, these are elongated, narrow with pointed ends. So the ends of these fibers are pointed. Walls are thick and dead at maturity. So like the first type of cells, parenchymatous cells, where we saw that there is live and dead cells into this, but in case of collenchyma we saw that there are only living alive cells into it. And in case of sclerenchyma, now we see that walls are thick and dead at maturity. So at maturity you will see the cells getting having their fate into death. So they have reduced lumen, the inside space of the sclerenchymatic cells is reduced. The average length is up to 1 to 2 mm. Further, fibers present in cortex, pericycle and phloem, they are known as bast fibers, BAST, bast fibers, whereas the sclerenchymatic fibers which are present into xylem, xylem fibers, which we call as wood fiber. So there may be a MCQ, there may be a short question where it may be asked what are bast fibers or what are xylem fibers, where you have to mention that bast fibers are sclerenchymatous structures which are normally present into cortex, pericycle and phloem, whereas wood fibers are sclerenchymatous structures or sclerenchymatous fibers present into xylem. So xylem fibers are known as wood fibers. So fibers may be present in singly or they may be present into groups. So it may be a position where fibers are singly arranged, or they may be also into groups. So they form hypodermis, they are present into hypodermis and bundle sheath of monocot stem. So when you see a monocot stem, you take a section of monocot stem, you will see the sclerenchymatous fibers into this, and they also are forming into hypodermis of monocot stem. Pericycle and part of xylem, phloem in dicot stem. So their presence is also into pericycle and part of xylem, phloem in dicot stem. So the earlier section was for monocot, hypodermis and bundle sheath, and when it comes to dicot, we say that pericycle and part of xylem and phloem. Sclerites. Now let us see the second type of sclerenchymatous cells or sclerenchyma cells, which are termed as sclerites, or alternatively they are also called as stone cells. So the name stone cells, why it comes, we'll come to know. Stone cells, they are derived from parenchymatous cells. Now you can just imagine that parenchymatous cells give rise to sclerites or sclerenchyma structures or sclerenchyma cells. Particularly to see that where does parenchyma cell comes from? Parenchyma cells comes from a meristematic cell. So meristematic cell produces parenchyma cells produces sclerenchymatous sclerites. Okay, so these stone cells are derived from parenchyma cells. They are isodiametric, the shape is isodiametric and have thick walls. They are rounded, polyhedral, short cylindrical or irregular in shape. So a variety of shapes, rounded, polyhedral, short cylindrical or irregular shapes are seen into sclerites. They are dead with narrow lumen. So these types of cells, sclerites, why they are called as stone cells? Because they are dead with narrow lumen. So there is hardly any lumen into them, and walls are lignified. So that means there will be a lignification into lignin will be present into their cell wall along with cellulose. So their cell becomes thickened. They are present into cortex and phloem. So they are present into cortex. So cortex cells will have sclerites and phloem will also have sclerites into them. They are also present in fruits and seeds. They are called grit cells into them. So they are present into fruits and they are present into cells, seeds, where they are called as grit cells. Now let us see the function for sclerenchyma. Main function of sclerenchyma is to give mechanical strength. So it provides a mechanical strength to the plant body and it supports the organs. All the organs, leaf, stem, fruits, whatever the organs, external organs and internal organs are present, it supports all of them. They can withstand strain and stress like flexion, compression and longitudinal pull in cylindrical bodies and shearing stresses in leaves. So when you tend to pull a leaf, the plant itself tends to bend. When you try to pull a flower or a leaf, you will see that the plant bends. After cutting these fruits, flowers or leaves, again it attains its original position. Why it happens so? How can it attain its original position? It is because of these sclerenchymatous cells which are present inside the stem, where the stress or the strain, what is the difference between the stress given here and the wind? Here you give a jerk to the plant, but when there is a heavy wind, the plant doesn't get a jerk. It is slightly moved to one side, again it attends onto the other side. So when you pull a leaf, you give a jerk to the plant, and that is a type of strain or a stress onto it, where this flexion or the compression and longitudinal pull which is there onto it, it can withstand these type of stresses and strains. We'll see the structure again. We'll see the structure of the sclerenchyma. Into longitudinal section, like I said, they are slendering at ends. So here, see here, it's slendering at the end. It is slendering at one side of end. This is seen into transverse sections. So when you see into into longitudinal sections, you see these. Into transverse sections, what do you see? Into transverse sections, you will see that thick cells, lignified cells, if present so. Okay, the cells are compact, but they are lignified and thick. Now let us see what are these. When I consider A to H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H, these all are stone cells. These all are stone cells, different types of stone cells. Okay, but they are sclerenchyma tissue, right? So into sclerenchyma we have seen sclerites. A to B and A and B rather, the ramiform pits which are present into them, this type of cells are seen into pulp of pear. So if you see the pulp of pear under a microscope, you will see these type of stone cells into them. C and D are stem cortex of Hoya. There is a plant known as Hoya, and into that the cortex cells will be of simple pitted type of cells, which are again the stone cells of sclerenchyma. E and F, these two, E and F, are petiole of camellia. G is from stem cortex of Trichodendron. This is from Trichodendron. H is from mesophyll cells of fig leaf. So mesophyll cells of fig leaf will show us this kind of structure. Okay, so these are different types of stone cells which are present into sclerenchyma. These are some of the references that I have taken. Most of the diagrams are from the same book. You can refer this book. This book will give you in detail information about the sclerenchyma tissue. Thank you.